Hello and welcome to Liberty Wolf, episode number 46. My name is Zach Strong. I'm glad you're here today. We have a very critically important message to talk about: preparedness. So if you find it helpful at all, please consider subscribing and liking and all of that good stuff. But more importantly, please share this with other people. Share it on your social media pages, in emails, whatever you want. But get it out there. It's so critically crucial right now that we prepare. Because right now we've been going through already global crises, one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. And now monkeypox, is everyone's terrified of monkeypox, and they're saying you might have to quarantine for 21 days. Okay, so these types of things are just coming one after the other, almost as if they're planned. And so we need to really get ready, because there's no Superman coming to save you. Donald Trump's not coming on his white horse to save you. Okay, you have to save yourself. You have to stay close to God. And you have to protect yourself and your own. So today we're going to talk about preparedness. And I want to begin by hearkening back to an article I wrote in March of this year called The Coming Global Holodomor. This is on my website, theamericancitadel.com. The link is in the description below. First of all, what is the Holodomor? The Holodomor happened between 1932 and 33 in Ukraine. It was a famine. Now, some people might think, well, that's not original. There's nothing useful there to really study. There have been lots of famines. Why is this one important? Why does it have a special name, the Holodomor? Well, people called it the Terror Famine. There's a different translation for you, the Terror Famine, because it was terrorism, food terrorism by the Soviet regime. It was not a natural occurring event. It was not, oh, we had drought this year and the harvest was bad and some people died. No, it was about between 8 and 12 million people, Ukrainians, were deliberately starved to death by Stalin and his henchmen. That's a fact. It happened. It was a devastating thing, but no one talks about it. People talk about the other H word from World War II, even though they don't know what they're talking about. But this one, the Holodomor, almost no one knows about it. It's not really taught much in the history books. Yes, there is an official day commemorating it, but how many people really know about it? Let's be honest. So the Holodomor, though, is really important. It's you can go through all the gory details if you want. My article goes over some eyewitness accounts of some of the horrible things that happened. People turned to cannibalism. Okay, it was really, I mean, you don't get much worse than cannibalism, but it was really horrific. The Soviets would take grain and they'd put it in the middle of a field and put guards around it. And just basically to laugh at the peasants. And so when people tried to sneak in there and steal something, because it's either try to steal the food or starve to death, they would shoot them dead. They also took lots of people and transported them to Siberia. Okay, this was a really brutal thing. And it was, again, this was ordered by Joseph Stalin, the dictator of Soviet Union, and he specifically ordered his Jewish henchmen, and one in particular, Gingrich Yagoda. Okay, he ordered them to engineer this famine, and it was engineered by them. And as I said, probably around 10 million people starved to death, or were otherwise killed during this brutality. Okay, and so I think, and let me just read it from my article. I'm going to read a couple paragraphs here from my article. I won't say anything more about the terror famine, but I want to impress upon you that this is, in microcosm, what humanity faces today. In 1932, Ukraine was an agricultural society. People knew how to farm and grow food. They were self-sufficient. They were closer to the soil and nature. Today, we're detached from reality, separated from the land, don't know how to grow our own food, and are almost entirely dependent upon a small group of farmers and truckers to provide food to our communities. What happens when the supply chain breaks down, or war or disease prevent trucks from running, or civil war forces farmers out of their fields to defend their families, or drought causes catastrophic crop yields? I'll tell you what happens. A global Holodomor. I repeat, a global Holodomor is coming. It's coming quicker than most suppose. It will utterly wipe out the portion of the population who say, it can't happen here. It will deplete society, upend order, and lead to civil war and mobocracy. This approaching terror famine will even decimate many people who otherwise are awake, but who have not been responsible enough to prepare to save their families. I repeat it again, a global holodomor is coming, and it will be just as deliberately engineered and deviously enforced as the first. It may not be this year or next, but soon. And that's my article there, quotation from it. Go look up the rest. So, if we consider that we are going into a period of global famine, even if you don't think it's engineered, that there are shadowy groups behind it, which I don't know how you can when you consider all of the dozens and dozens and dozens of food packing plants and facilities, and they're just blown up. At least 2 times planes have crashed into them. How often does that happen? But even in Iran right now, food facilities are blowing up, and you have all sorts of weird stuff all around the world. In the Netherlands, and you have farms being burned to the ground, and it's just all over the place. Natural gas plants are blowing up at record numbers. I mean, it's really incredible, and people are complacent, and they don't think anything of it, if they even know about it at all. It's the fact checkers have fact checked it and said, nope, it's false. So when the fact checkers fact something, you know that it's the opposite in most cases. So in this case, guys, there is an assault on the supply chain. You can find different numbers, but it's in the tens of millions of people who starved to death over the past couple of years because of lockdowns and supply chain issues. Tens of millions. I've seen the number 60 or 70 million a couple different times. It's a lot. Now, if people aren't dropping dead in the streets from hunger where you live, good. But they're going to. Starvation, hunger, those are coming to a city near you. And so when they do, what are you going to do about it? When the supply chain totally breaks, I mean, it's kind of broken beyond repair at least for the foreseeable future. But what's it going to do? What are you going to do when it happens to break a little more? Okay? What are you going to do about it? Think about it. Ask yourself, what am I going to do? How am I going to save my family? Take stock right now. Go to your kitchen and look and see what you have, or your pantry, wherever you keep food. How much do you have? Realistically, if you could not go to the store tomorrow, if you couldn't leave your home again, how much do you have? How much time could you stay alive if you were locked in your home with just what you have there? Okay? Think about it. It's kind of sobering to think about. And so today I'm going to go over, people love lists. I have 7 items of things that you can do to prepare, 7 considerations to think about. Now, this might not be a comprehensive list, but people love lists, so here's a list. Okay, first one, water. Have you thought about water much? Okay, we think about food, we talk about preparedness, food. What about water? Okay, you can't live too many days without water. Now, extraordinary cases have happened, but on average, the experts claim that you can't really go too much more than 3 days without water. Now, I think more people could than they think, but still, that's a pretty reasonable thing. In 3 days, especially in a hot climate, that's going to be pretty tough if you don't have water. Okay, so how can you think about water, and what can you do? Well, there are life straws. There are Sawyer minis. All these different filtration systems that are out there. Membrane solutions, I think that one's from China. I've read it's from China, but it's the cheapest one out there. But whatever you choose, you need to have something in your go bag, in your bug out bag, your 72-hour kit, whatever you call it. You need to have something to filter water. Now, it might not be practical to have a full year supply of water on hand, for example, in your house. That takes up some space. Now, I recommend you have a year's supply of food and water and other essentials. I think that's kind of a minimum year supply. But what are you going to do about the water? You might not have enough space. But probably you'll have some access to a water supply, either through rain or a river or a pond or a muddy puddle outside. You're going to have something. So you need to find a way to filter it. So water filtration, that should be one of the first priorities. Number 2, food. Okay, obviously, again, you can't live too long without food. I recommend a year's supply. A year's supply of what, though? Is it a year's supply of all the stuff you normally eat? No, of course not. That's not practical for most people. Even really hardcore preppers aren't really preparing to eat at the same type of level that they do now. They're not going to have snacks all throughout the day, 3 giant meals with all the trimmings. Okay, that's not going to happen. So what you do is you plan for the things that will keep you alive until you're able to adapt to whatever situation it is, until society kind of gets back on its feet, whatever the thing may be, until you can get together with other people, until you can grow the next harvest, whatever it is. Okay, you need something to hold you over. I think at least a year. Okay, so I would say don't be scared of canned meats and canned veggies. What about spam and sardines and tuna? Some people are like, Vienna sausages? Oh no. Well, go eat them. First of all, I think they're delicious, but second of all, they're going to keep you alive, aren't they? Yeah, they'll keep you alive. So you want to have those in your pantry. And on top of that, though, you want to have lots of beans and rice, pastas, and different staples, right? Canned veggies have those. Spices, I think, are crucial because have you tried eating white rice every day for a long period of time? You want to have some good spices. Cayenne pepper, medicinally extremely, extremely good for you. I have a bunch of that. Paprika and curcumin and all these different things. Have some spices, whatever you like. Salt and pepper, obviously. Sugars and different things. You want to have that. Okay. Also skills. If you don't know how to either hunt and clean and butcher and grow and collect and gather, forage, preserve, dry, can your food, learn how to do it. Those are necessary skills, okay? And the next one I put is warmth. Warm clothing. You need warm clothes. In most parts of the world, well, I shouldn't say most, but anywhere in the northern hemisphere, you're going to need some sort of warmth. You're going to need a coat. Short sleeve shirt's not going to cut it. You need a coat, warm one, a nice one, something that's going to be durable. Look for durability in your clothes, not if it has a nice Nike brand on it. Who cares about that? You're going to need durability. Okay, you want gloves, a hat, good boots, warm socks. You might laugh at long johns now or thermal underwear, but you're going to want some when it's negative 20 outside and you don't have a house with electricity. Okay, next one, relocation. This, you can't pack relocation with you, but you can relocate now while society is still somewhat stable. Go find a good place, get around good people, get away from the cities. Cities are death traps. You don't want to be there, I promise you. You might say, oh, but all the work is here. Yeah, and all the other horrible things in society are there too. And all the threats are there. And all the people who are going to be starving are going to be there too. Get away from that. Relocate. Wherever you relocate, get away from cities. Get away from direct nuclear targets. Okay, the Intermountain West is a fantastic area in the United States. Places like Missouri and Arkansas, the Ozarks, great. You have some other parts that are really good. You can find little parts here and there in most states that are going to be national forests or plateaus or mountains or something away from the population density that's going to kill you one day. Okay, get away from that. Next, fuel. Okay, power generator is great. Make it solar, because if you have propane or gas, that's going to run out. Then what you're going to do? Okay, you're going to want some type of a solar generator. Make it a dual, doesn't matter, but have solar available. Any other type of fuel, okay? Firewood, okay? You need something to start fires with. You need an axe to cut firewood or a saw. You need to be close to a source. Again, that's part of the relocation aspect. Next, self-defense. You're going to want to defend yourself, okay? Guns is the best way to do it. Have a gun, have firearms, train with them. Doesn't do enough for you if you just have a gun sitting in a safe somewhere, okay? How does that help you out, really? You need to train with it. You need to be ready to use it. You need to be ready to not give them in when the government says give them in to us, or else. Say, no, the men at Lexington and Concord didn't do that. That's not the American tradition. Rebellion to tyrants is the American tradition. I'm going to have an article below on that too. And lastly, God. You can take God with you wherever you go. Be close to God, and He'll be close to you. Okay? That's the most important item on this whole list, because if you don't have food or water, but you have God and you die, you're good still. Now, God can also protect you in a lot of different ways. So get God in your life, in your heart, in your family, in your home. Okay? Study the Holy Scriptures. Pray. There's power in prayer. Do all these things. Think about the water and the food and your fuel supply, your training level. Go take stock of what you have right now. And if I had the crisis, if the crisis began right now, what would happen? And keep in mind that a global holodomor, an deliberately engineered famine is coming. Mass genocide is already happening. It's already beginning through vaccines and through forced starvation and all the shutdown of different countries in the agriculture field. Okay, it's all coming. It's all happening. It's all here. look at the tea leaves, guys. The signs are all there. You need to prepare for it. Please prepare for it. This is critically important. So please share this video, get it out. Look at my 7-item list there. Consider for your family what's best for you and how you're going to survive. And please believe that it can happen here, because it can and it will and it's going to, and it's already beginning. And prices are going up, and your ability to be able to do a lot of these things is going to start being diminished as time goes on. So prepare for it. Get ready. Safeguard your family, because you have no Superman or Batman coming to save you. Okay? You have to be your own superhero. So stay close to God. Get discernment in your life. Prepare now. And that's all I've got today. Sic Semper Tyrannis. Long live liberty.